This is your man.
Yes.
Look at the screen.
That's mine.
And that's what you're going to settle for.
I'm gonna stick beside him.
They were like, I ain't no killer, but don't push me. I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Okay. He like, yeah, round up the troops. We about to go run down on Buddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm from Chicago, so this is my little storytelling. We finna go run down on Buddy. And Abigail is the man's wife. Abigail's like, whoa, hold on, Charlie. David was like, I really like the way you move, oh girl. I like the way you move, my girl. You looking good too. You looking real good. Okay, I'm sorry. But basically, David was like, I kind of like you, shorty. I kind of like you. What you want to do? And so she wanted to be one of David's wives. These things that we're asking the Lord for, we have to prepare for. And I'm thankful that the Lord did not give me anything that I was not ready for. Thankful that he didn't give me anything with anybody who I was with in the past. I know for a fact I would not only be miserable, but I probably would have psoriasis of the liver, okay, just looking at who I was picking back then and the mirror that they were for me. But I won't even go that deep into those type of things. I don't want to bash anybody, and I'm not trying to. I just know that they were great for the time and who I was then, but they were not people that should have made vows to, They're not people to make vows to. They're not people to take into forever with.
Level uploading.
Up.
Level uploading.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Level Uploading. Fight Feelings, Face Facts with yours truly, Shay.
Hey.
So I've been in the book of 1 Samuel, and one of the things that has been on my radar, on my mind, is Abigail. So I have a Bible that has a woman's Bible. I have a NLT. I have a ESV. I have a plethora of different translations, but
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Jerry.
a lot of times, we don't hear a lot about the women in the Bible and how influential they were and how they play a major role in a lot of things. Abigail, for instance, is one of the ones I want to talk about today. I'm not going to give you the full story, but it's first Samuel 25. You can, get the story. But basically, I'm going to give you a short synopsis. David needs help, and he goes to this gentleman who he has helped before, who he showed love and kindness to before, and the dude says, psst, no, get out my face. It was a mean, ornery, funky guy that always, got an attitude problem. And they were like, whoa. I mean, you ain't gotta say yes, but it's me. I looked out for you before. And dude was like, yeah, whatever, bye. So David in his flesh got upset, and he was about to turn up. David like, I ain't no killer, but don't push me. I ain't no killer, but don't push me, okay? He like, yeah, round up the troops. We about to go run down on Buddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm from Chicago, so this is my little storytelling. We finna go run down on Buddy. And Abigail is the man's wife. Abigail's like, whoa, hold on, Charlie.
I'm in danger.
My man is mean. My man is stupid. He be getting drunk.
Not on my watch.
Please forgive me. Here's some food. Here's some. She basically interceded on behalf of her husband. Her husband was tripping, and she had a lot of sense for once. For one, because she interceded and then she waited, because the man, he had him a feast. He like, whatever, he had him a good old time. Meanwhile, not even knowing that he was in danger, that the ops was coming. Wasn't the ops, but they were coming to come and get him.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
And Abigail stood and put her life in the line. I mean, if David was already coming to destroy everything, wifey would have been next in line. She could have got it right then and there. But she put herself in the forefront and calmed David down. So not only did she save her husband, Nabal, I think that's how you say it. She saved her husband. She saved herself and her family and the people around. But she also saved David from sinning. She saved David from seeking revenge. Like, we think about her saving Nabal, her husband, but we do not really talk a lot about how she saved David. David was about to do something in his own flesh. He did not consult the Lord about it. He was about to sin. And, sin is something that can separate us from our favor with the Lord. So she really, really helped him. Fast forward, her husband winds up dying because the Lord knows what he's doing. And I'm not trying to say like the Lord is going to take everybody out, but at the same time, he has his set plan. You are not fair, you're unjust, you're not helping my person, you're not repentant for being, mean and honorary. Okay, you getting drunk, you're mean to your wife, who knows. But anyway, and so when the man died, David was like, I really like the way you move, oh girl. I like the way you move, my girl. You looking good too. You looking real good. Okay, I'm sorry. But basically, David was like, I kind of like you, shorty. I kind of like you. What you want to do? What you want to do? What you want to do? And so she wanted to be one of David's wives. And, that comes with being taken care of. She would have been a widow. And, widows, they were kind of like the homes of society back then. Like, everybody had to try to take care of them, but they didn't have a covering. Your husband was your covering in that time. So, even now, that's the truth. But it's a little different, societally now. But if she would have been a widow, she would have been without anybody to take their name or to care for her or be responsible for her. So with her being faithful to the drunkard, mean, surly husband that she had, if she had not done that, she would not have displayed the qualities that could have saved and provided for her in the future. And I just think about that. I'm like, in those days, marriage was a lot more about survival, a lot more about business deals and things like that. But it's it's kind of interesting because she may not have loved him. We see some stories in the Bible about people falling in love or falling into infatuation or whatever it is, and they like each other and they marry, boom. But we don't know the circumstances. We don't know if she picked him and he was like that, or if he grew into a bitter old man who just wanted to be drunk and mean all the time. We don't know the circumstances. We don't get a lot of background on Abigail's and Nabal's story. But Nabal, I don't know how you say the man's name. It's Nabal, okay? Do with that what you will. But it's like, how many of us are not faithful in the crazy situations that we are in, myself included? That we complain about the stuff that we have. We complain about it. We're not faithful with it. We don't, handle it well. We don't take it to the Lord. We don't move in a way that we honor our commitment. Regardless of if Abigail liked the man, if she cared about him or not, she knew that was her husband and she didn't want him to die. She was faithful to her vows. She was faithful to her responsibility as a wife and as a woman to be his helpmate, his helpmeet. And sometimes that looks like interceding. Sometimes that looks like spiritually interceding. Sometimes that looks like physically interceding. Sometimes that looks like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like pleading for grace and mercy for your husband. And I just think about how that looks and how that is so telling to how we should be handling circumstances in life. I think about myself and thinking about old jobs and things like that where you're complaining 24/7 about this job or you're just annoyed with it and yeah, okay, it may be an annoying thing, but just being faithful and seeing it through. You've committed to taking the job, you haven't left the job. It's helping to provide for you, and the way that you handle that job is going to determine if the next job, if you can use that job for a recommendation, or if you can use that job on your resume and they can give you glowing reviews, versus a person who hates their job, complains all day, does the bare minimum, and then when they do get to the next job, the next company is asking you for, recommendations and what do you call those things? References. Asking for references, and you can't even send them back to the old people because you've burned so many bridges back there. I mean, as a single woman who has not married yet, I pray that the Lord would not attach me to a mean, surly, drunk man. But I can say that I have in the past been attached to mean, surly, drunk men, and I understand the position that Abigail has been put in. I'll share a story, a quick story, very quick story. I was a young woman and I was dating a gentleman, and there was a situation where there was drinking involved for sure, and a undercover police officer, the gentleman said something very crazy to a cashier, and there was an undercover police officer there who, you know, kind of jumped into the situation, and I was the Abigail in that situation. Like, and looking back on it, it's like, girl, what is wrong with you? Like, are you dumb? You're putting yourself in these situations. You're putting yourself in a potential situation to try to stop an officer and I can't even believe I'm telling y'all this, but it is what it is. To intercede on the behalf of your quote unquote man. And as honorable as I was for Abigail, I don't consider that honorable for me. I consider it stupid. But I love the fact that I have that in me and that I can and am willing to be that. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff that the Lord puts in us, we don't use it for the right things or the right people. And so that's where we get bitterness, and that's where we get heartache, and that's where we get heartbroken and things like that. But the qualities that He's instilled in me, the Lord has given me these character traits, these personality traits, these things. It's supposed to be for my husband, not for random angry man. So things are different from how they were done back in the old days. But I just pray that as women, I got a little mixture of people, so I can't just say as women. But as a woman, and any women watching and looking, especially single women who are waiting to be found and waiting for their preparation season to be married and to be pursued and courted and, you know, committed to in a very real way. I hope that we are also understanding what we're praying for, and also willing to be that intercession for our spouse, that we're not just praying for a spouse so that we can take cute Instagram pictures, or so that we can have somebody to go on vacation with, or so that we can finally do some bumping and grinding. I hope that we understand that that position is very, very important. It's very strong. It's very sacrificial. And that's not to say that the husband is not making sacrifices too. It should be mutual sacrifices made. But I just don't want us to get caught up in what the world makes marriage look like. That story I just told you about Abigail and David and Nabal, that is what real marriage is like. You have to be willing to intercede. And that could be your husband is making rash decisions. He could be a mighty man of God, but maybe just for a moment, just like David, he gets in his flesh just for a moment, and you intercede. You go to God, you take it in prayer, you stop the sin before it happens. You keep him from sinning. You keep him from operating out of revenge or anger. It could be your husband is being tempted to do something investment wise, and your spirit is grieved by it. You don't have peace about it. Taking it to the Holy Spirit, addressing it, speaking up about it. Honestly, sometimes we are not able to get through, but the Holy Spirit can, especially if you are with a man of God. We are still human, so please don't ever think that just because you're with a man of God that he's always going to get it right. David got it wrong many times, and we know for a fact that he was a mighty man of God. David got it right a lot of times, but he got it wrong sometimes too. So, I just want us to not fairy tale it up and fantasize about these wonderful things. We have to understand about the work that comes with it too, and that's just one thing that I wanted to share with you guys. I really pray that you guys do go and read the story for yourselves. And that you take your definition of marriage to the Lord. Ask for him to show you not only the wonderful parts of it, but show you the parts that are going to require sacrifice. It's going to require work. It's going to require patience and faithfulness and being able to just show up and show out for your partner. It's not going to always be 50-50. It's not going to always be 20-80. It's not going to be 70-30. Sometimes it's just going to fluctuate. You don't know. But if we go into this with this this social media thought process of what marriage looks like, or even the family generational curse crazy ways that some of these marriages look like, and not a biblical standpoint of what marriage looks like, we could truly do ourselves and our spouses a disservice. Of course, marriage is different. We are in New Testament times. We're not in the Old Testament. We're not BC. We're AD, okay? But there's still so much that we can learn from the past and from generations past. Good, bad, and ugly, we can learn from that. So I just pray that this really touches somebody, and that we understand that faithfulness is a very important part of it, not just in a infidelity type of way, but just being faithful to what we signed up for. Abigail probably was sick of that man a long time ago, but that was her husband, and guess what? She gonna stick beside him. And in this day and age, we don't always have that thought process, and everybody has extenuating circumstances. There are things that are unacceptable, and I'm not here to get into semantics about that, but I just want to implore us to try our best to really honor the vows that we take. This is not just about a big wedding or reception or a nice rock on your finger. Like, these things that we're asking the Lord for, we have to prepare for. And I'm thankful that the Lord did not give me anything that I was not ready for. Thankful that He didn't give me anything with anybody who I was with in the past. I know for a fact I would not only be miserable, but I probably would have psoriasis of the liver, okay? Just looking at who I was picking back then, and the mirror that they were for me. But I won't even go that deep into those type of things. I don't want to bash anybody, and I'm not trying to. I just know that they were great for the time and who I was then, but they were not people that should have made vows to. They're not people to make vows to. They're not people to take into forever with. I'll just leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoy. Please let me know down in the comments if you have had any experiences where you kind of have interceded for people, whether it be your husband or otherwise. And also, men, if you're watching, you can give me some examples of a time where your spouse, your woman, has came in and interceded for you and kept you out of harm's way, or kept you from making an unwise decision. And just let me know some things. I want to hear you guys' story as well. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will see you on the next episode. Bye.